Now, as it turns out, my name is Wolfschlegensteinhausen-Bergedorf. I'm so excited, guys. I'm finally going to get a program to be able to say my name. What? It looks like programmers, W3 Schools, and ChatGPT/Gemini all taught us a horrible, dangerous method of taking user input without any warnings about it. Just make your destination buffer a really high number like 30. Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy. Today I'm coming at you with another C programming tutorial. Okay, I've been learning a lot from W3 Schools right here. We've copy and pasted their code directly. That's how much we're learning, okay? So look at this, look at this, look at this. I took the string input and I copied it. It's right here, okay? It's copied right there. Now what I want to do is take that first name and concatenate it and say hello. So instead of doing printf%s, I thought to teach myself how to do more C programming, I would actually use the dedicated concatenate function that they taught me about called strcat, which is right here. So what I did is I copied this, okay? I just copied it right here. I copied it exactly with all the same numbers, everything. It should work just great. My name is, of course, Bartholomew Stantipolis. That's my name. What? But I copied the code exactly! This is a problem. And so is this. And so is this. And so is this. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then for sure you have seen these websites before. This is W3 Schools. I'm not just picking on them. This is Geeks for Geeks. This is Programmers. In fact, this issue is so prevalent that even Google's AI has started to pick this up and give it as the AI overview. So what exactly is the problem? And to be clear, I think these websites are actually generally really good for higher level programming languages. However, one very common thing I've noticed across all of these basic baby's first programming tutorial websites when it comes to C is that they teach very, very badly, and in some cases quite dangerously, and I think quite irresponsibly. So I want us to pretend that we are a brand new programmer trying to learn C for the very first time, okay? And we are looking at these websites because of course we've used them before to learn things like Python. And we're like, I want to learn C. So one of the most basic things that you can do is take input from the user and print it back out to the terminal. Wow, this is amazing. I'm learning so much. We have this function called Scanf, and I can use that to take input from the user. Oh wow, I can use it to take a string. Now you'll notice that there is a note here about specifying the size of the string array. They used a very high number, guys. They used 30. Now let's see how big is that is 35. Oh no! It looks like our name is too long for this W3 Schools example. Now, the one I actually used was this Programmers, which was 20, so even worse. At least W3 Schools says it's a first name, okay? So technically, Wolfenschwegenscheiner doesn't count, okay? But Programmers says just enter your name, and so I entered my name. Now, of course, if you've done any amount of modern C programming, you know that the accepted way to do this is just always use fgets. There is no reason for us to be teaching scanf anymore unless it's an example of what not to do. And so you can see here, if I enter our full name with fgets, we are going to get cut off to the buffer size like we should. And the funniest thing about this is that Scanf actually does let you limit the amount of characters to your buffer size by specifying it here, but none of them ever use this. Why? Why do you just have the raw pointer in there and you never tell me about this option? It's literally just irresponsible. And the only reason I can think of to do this is if the people making it are just amateurs who haven't done a lot of C programming before or don't really know how to use the language. And that's the big issue with all of these baby's first programming sites, is that if you have a certain amount of knowledge about the programming language, you can make those entry-level tutorials because your knowledge cap theoretically only has to be entry level. You don't have to be an expert in C programming to make how to do a for loop in C. And so it's either that or they just pumped it out really quick without having anyone experienced look over it. But Hoff, surely it can't be that bad. I mean, how many people even look at these sites anyway? Well, thankfully for us, there's actually a video tutorial by programmers that we can use to check on this. The answer, dear reader, to how many people are learning about scanf%s is 239,000. And to their credit, they do talk about fgets, but there is no mention of the unsafety of this scanf%s method, and of course they don't even bother to put the limiter in the format string. we're learning about scanf for strings, and then, oh, all of a sudden, now we're talking about buffer overflows, but we're talking about gets. But don't worry, guys. Gets was removed from the C standard, so we don't have to worry about being unsafe. Don't even mention the fact that we first taught you how to use scanf with a raw %s format string, and now we're teaching you how to use fgets. Oh no, don't worry about it, guys. Everything unsafe has been removed from the C standard. It's all good. And of course, this is so prevalent that Gemini is now giving it as the top result for how do I take user input in C. And you can see the exact source that it is citing right here. But to Gemini's credit, it does tell us that it prevents buffer overflows. So the problem is, why are we not just using, why is this not method A? Why is this not method A? Okay. Let's stop talking about user input for a minute, because now we're going to look at C string functions, okay? I'm really excited to learn about this. I want to copy, I want to concatenate, I want to do everything. We're learning so much. I just learned how to copy one string to another. And look, the destination array must have enough space to store the copied string. We're fully safe, guys. As long as we always guaranteed to know the size of the string at runtime, we are so fine. The issues with this example are twofold, okay? Number one is we led with the unsafe version. You can see down here there is a str copy, which copies at most but we've led with the unsafe version, and if I'm a newbie, then of course this one looks easier. Like, you know, there's one less thing for me to worry about. So if I'm a newbie, I'm just trying to get up and go as fast as possible, I'm gonna use this one because this is the one you told me about first. Now the second problem with this is that there is just enough that's written there to make the author feel good about themselves and say, well, I'm doing my job. So look at this, the destination array must have enough space to store the copied string. That's the end of our responsibility, okay? We told them, you guys, you gotta make sure that your buffers are big enough, okay? We told you, listen, we told you, look at that right there. But the issue is, this example is a hard-coded string with a hard-coded destination that is bigger than it. There is almost no situations where this program is the program we're writing because it's fully pointless. There is no real use to this program. If I'm a beginner, and as I should be, I'm trying to assemble a whole program out of these building blocks that I'm learning, then maybe I take some of the user input and then I copy it, or I concatenate it, or I do some other manipulations with it. Unless, of course, you do if statements and you check these things beforehand, like if you do an if strlen here, but of course, there's nowhere to be seen. We have no examples of how to guarantee that this operation is going to be successful. And so if you're a new user, you might not even know that that's a thing that you gotta do. W3 Schools is even worse on this. There is no mention of the N series of functions ever. It's just raw strcpy, raw strcat. Like there's no even mention of the safe operations. And look, oh guys, no, but we did our job. We did our job, we said, guys, if you have a buffer overflow, this is your fault, okay? You've got to make sure that it's big enough, guys. How do you make sure that it's big enough? Oh, well, don't worry about that. You got to figure that out on your own, you know? Yeah, you can totally trust that guy on the TCP socket that he's going to send you a null terminator after the end of the string. Yeah, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Because these examples are so bad, if you just take two of them and you put them together like any new user would do, you get unsafe behavior. Because of course, 30 is higher than 20 used in the strcat example. So if I take this example and I combine it with this example, we're gonna have a problem. And you can say all you want, like, oh, well, they say, you gotta make sure that your destination address has enough space in it, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but they don't show me that. They don't show me that. So if I just copy the code right here, I'm gonna get an unsafe result. And there's no mention of the N series of functions down here at all. Fundamentally, our issue is that all of these high-ranking SEO babies first C program websites are teaching horrible and dangerous C. And it breaks my heart because C is my favorite programming language and it has this reputation for being unsafe, easily broken, blah, blah, blah. Do you think it's because that we are showing as our very first example to people that you should take a raw format string and as many characters as you want from the user and put it into a fixed size buffer? Do you think maybe that's the problem? Or that in some cases, we don't even mention that a size-limited series of functions exist. And even if we did, because Geeks for Geeks does mention that there are stir and cat, stir and copy, they show it in the worst way possible. They show it with literally a static number as the end term that is always guaranteed to be less than the destination. They never show how to calculate that dynamically, okay? Because a lot of people get this wrong. Stir copy and stir and cat, the n is not the total number of bytes like snprintf, okay? It is how many bytes do you want to transfer maximally? So you actually have to do a calculation between the size of your buffer, the size of the string that's already in there, the size of the string that you're going to concatenate, and then make sure that that all works. And they don't show that. They just say, oh, stir and cat, stir 1, stir 2, 4. Great. Now this is the most insulting thing about it, man. Let's get certified. Let's get certified in C from W3 Schools. Okay, I'm going to pay $95 to become an expert in how to create buffer overflows. What a joke. And look, maybe this is the best C course you've ever taken. Maybe it is. But if you're an organization that is capable of producing something like that, why is this your example on your website? It seems like you're amateurs. Why would I want to take a $95 C course made by amateurs? Anyway, guys, that's it from me. Let me know what you think in the comments.